What is up, guys? It's your boy Torius, back again with another video. Making the first move. We're talking about how to do it and what not to do. So let's get into it. Like the video, comment below what you think about it, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it. Make the first move. Well, growing up in America, at least, or like growing up as like a 90s kid, you watch all these movies, right? All these TV shows, all these movies, and you see like the way to a girl's heart, the way to get married, the way to have sex is by kissing, right? It's by making the move. Who's supposed to make the move, right? The boy or the girl? The masculine or the feminine? Well, I'm gonna tell my experience, because I've had girls make moves on me. Actually, no, never. I've never had a girl kiss me first, honestly. Wait, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna say some don'ts. I don't know. Making the first move can be a very nerve-wracking process, right? Because you feel like, damn, should I kiss her? Should I touch her? Should I grab her? Should I yank her? I'm just kidding. Like, what should you do? I don't know, right? A lot of times, especially if you've never kissed a girl, if you've never touched a girl, I've never held a hoe, I feel like making the first, because the thing is, the reason I was having like trouble like thinking of what to say is because there's so many aspects of making the first move, right? Like, making the first move could be like just seeing a girl, right? She's there, and then you just go up to talk to her. That's making a move, right? That's making the first move. Because she's not talking to you first, you're talking to her first. So guess who's making the move? It's you, right? So yeah, the girl's making the move first. I'm gonna specify this one to like kissing, right? Like, let's say that you want to kiss a girl, and you're like, oh, should I kiss her? I don't know if I should kiss her or not, right? In my experiences, I mean, kissing doesn't always lead to sex, and sometimes girls don't even want to kiss, right? Like, sometimes girls just want to smash. But you gotta put it up in the air. Sometimes you gotta just play with the possibility, right? Like, flirting is all about playing with the possibilities, right? Because when you're flirting, you just put like, oh, what if we did this? Oh, what if you were in a room with me in the dark? Right? Like, that's flirting and shit, right? But if you're like, all right, let's say let's get this scenario, right? You're sitting down with the girl, you guys are watching TV, Netflix and chilling, whatever, and you're nervous as fuck, and you're just like, oh my goodness, what should I do? Should I make the kid a move or whatever? Honestly, before, what I would do, I would just go for it, right? A lot of times I would just go for it, and the thing is, nowadays I realize, okay, you gotta kind of feel the vibe, right? And like, before I wouldn't really feel the vibe. But there's been times where I just like started making out with a girl. There's been times I kissed a girl and then she went like, right? Those are the worst, because those are what I mean. Honestly, even if she does do that, that don't mean that you're over, right? As long as you stay like, the whole point of it is to stay confident, right? If she backs up when you try to kiss her, don't feel too discouraged. I just like, there's an old proverb that goes, one step forward, two steps back, right? So when it comes to like hanging out with a girl, you test the waters, right? Like you make a move, like it goes from like you hanging to like touching, right? And when you're touching, if she kind of unreciprocates, then she'll move away from you, right? She'll be like, okay, this is too much for me, and then you'll be like, all right, and you back up 2 steps, right? Like, you go forward 2 steps, and then you say something sexual, right? Like, oh yeah, well, if I was in them titties though, and she'll be like, and you'll be like, I'm just kidding, but then you like, you just take that step back, right? You don't want to come off too aggressive. It's like when they say, oh, it's like making love to a woman. You have to soft caress, right? You have to caress her. You want to show her, like, when it comes to sex, you want to show the animalistic side, right? You just want to let the animal loose, but at the same time, you gotta ease her mind, right? So that's where the caressing comes from. Like, the caressing is for like showing her, okay, like, basically, you gotta just, if you're gonna make a move and you're gonna do anything with a girl, like sexual, you literally just have to see in your head the end result, right? Like, what's the end result? A family and kids, right? Because that's what you have sex for. It's to like raise kids. And if you just have the end in mind, then the rest will follow suit, right? Like, you might not want to have sex. Like, you might just want to fuck her, right? You might just want to have sex with her. You might not want to have a whole family with her. But as long as you know those principles of like, okay, this is the point, because this is what she wants, right? Like, I mean, yeah, that's what she wants. Like, I don't know. For me, there's only been so many occasions where we didn't have, like, we didn't kiss before sex, right? But all right, but if you're just sitting there and she's there, sometimes it's so funny. Like, sometimes when girls are waiting for you to make a move, right? Like, sometimes she'll get bored because you're taking too fucking long. Like, I've had girls tell me like, oh, he took so long. He took like 40 minutes, right? Just 40 minutes to just like. I feel like the best way to do it, the best way to make a move is like, hey, guess what? And they'll be like, what? And like, oh, I want to kiss you, right? So you just tell them. Just tell them, oh, I want to kiss you right now. And they're like, oh, so then do it, right? So then you just start doing it. I don't know. I feel like that's the easiest way to do it. Like, I don't think it has to be so surprising. Like, it doesn't have to be like the biggest surprise ever. Sometimes you just gotta tell them, like, okay, I want to kiss you. Like, you look bad. I want to kiss you. And I definitely look back on my experiences and I'm like, damn, you know, I should have just done that. Like, one time, I was in bed with a girl, right? But we was like under the covers type shit. Like, we were about to go to sleep. But then I was just like, oh, close your eyes. And then she closed her eyes. I just kissed her. A lot of times I just sneak up. Like, I don't know. You can sneak up on them too with it. I don't know. It don't really matter. The best times is when it's like super genuine, right? Like, when it's super like natural, like when it just happens. Because sometimes you're just chilling with a girl and then all of a sudden you're just making out and you're like, oh, all right, that's a bet. But it definitely takes some practice. You're gonna mess up, right? It's super easy to mess up. I've definitely messed up. I've definitely had some quirky ass times. I waited two dates and I was like, okay, I'm gonna drop her off at her house and then kiss her out the door, right? Like a gentleman, right? It's so funny, like, looking back, like going from like a gentleman to like a fucking to fuck boy. Because you just smash and like, all right, bye, right? And I always think that's funny. But yeah, you just gotta like you honestly don't even ask, right? Like, oh, can I kiss you right now? Like, that's the worst thing you could do. Like, don't ever ask if you can kiss. Be like, hey, I want to kiss you. And she'll be like, so? Or like, oh, she'll actually be like excited, like, oh, for real? Because you're finally, you know, because she's there for a reason. Like, even if she says like, oh, I just came for this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like the thing is, girls don't chill with anyone, like dudes, just to, you know, most of the time. I'm not saying all the time, but I'm just saying, like, in the end of the day, you're trying to have a family. Like, if you visualize a family with this woman, then obviously you're gonna have to have some type of sexual relationship, right? Like, obviously some sex is gonna happen if you want kids and a house and picket fence and all that shit, right? Like, you're gonna need to do that. But yeah, when it comes to making the first move, just grab your balls. Honestly, that's another thing. It's all about grabbing your fucking balls, right? Because as long as, like, the best thing in my head is, like, instead of thinking like, oh, she's gonna reject me, just think, oh, let me grab my fucking balls, right? Like, have some balls. Like, just be like, oh, have some balls, Nick, right? That's what I say. Like, anytime in my head, like, to get rid of those negative thoughts, I'm just like, have some balls. Just be bold. Just tell her, like, fuck it. If it's weird, fuck it. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Just grab your balls, right? Just have balls. That's what's important. Have your balls and be like, all right, take that breath, and then, you know, just don't be a pussy about it. Like, be like, oh, I want to kiss you, and then, you know, but I tell you, like, oh, you're bad as fuck, this and that, yada yada yada, and whatever, and then make that move. And always, I mean, I don't know how important this is, but I've heard that you gotta like lean, like, don't go all the way in, right? Like, if you're gonna kiss a girl, don't go like all the way in, like 100%. You gotta do like 90%, and then have her do like 10%, right? And then the most important thing to remember as well, right? If this is your first kiss ever, always be the first one to move back, right? Like, move back away first, because then that shows that you aren't needy about it, right? Like, let her want more. Like, don't let her be the first one to, like, just you don't even have to make out with her, right? Like, you don't have to make out with the bitch. You don't have to make out with her. All you gotta do is just kiss her and then release. kiss and release, and then let her be like, still like, oh, what happened? You don't want, so that she'll think like, oh shit, what's going on, right? The thing is, like, you might, like, this might come off as manipulating, but I understand, because I've had it happen to me where I've been like kissing, and then I'm still like, and the girl pulls back, and I'm just like, oh shit, and it makes me want to kiss them more, right? So that's just biology. That's just what's gonna happen. I hope this video is useful for you. If you like it, comment below what you want me to talk about in the next one. Like this video, get it to 50K likes. If you have any more questions, just DM me on Instagram at Torius at 6 Feet Interviews. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.